You can make a lot of money in franchising, just like any sort of business. Returns I see are anywhere from 20 to 30% each year on your money. E2 visa is, in my opinion, the best kept secret in U.S. immigration policy. This even works in the Trump era. Trump wants jobs in the United States. You raise your hand and you say, I want to make an investment in the United States economy. I want to hire American workers. It could be as low as about 125.
Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com, and today we have Adam Goldman with us. Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Atul, so nice to be here today with you.
Okay, brother. So, for our listeners who don't know you, can you tell them who you are and what do you do?
So, my name is Adam Goldman, and I'm a franchise coaching consultant. And what that means is that I'm a matchmaker. It's the franchise brand that pays us a commission if we make a successful match. And what we do is we connect potential corporate executives or other people that are looking to invest in themselves and start a franchise business with pre-screened brands that are in 75 different industries.
Okay. So, how much money should have before they think about getting into franchisee business?
So great question. I mean, we have such a big range, but on the lower end, we're looking for people that have at least $50,000 in cash and a net worth, including their house or their retirement account, of about $150,000.
Okay, and that starts from how much? Okay, so you said it starts from 50,000.
So from a higher range, I mean, right? Like McDonald's is over $1 million, right? So anywhere from the range is total investment cost of about $125,000 all the way to $1 million plus.
And yeah, when well-established brand like McDonald's, then how much someone can expect, like how much they can make, like when they
So I get
invest
asked this
that amount of
question
money.
all the
Yeah.
time, right? If you're good, you can make a lot of money in franchising, just like any sort of business, right? So returns I see are anywhere from 20 to 30% each year on your money. It just
Mhm.
depends on the investment and also depends on the fit, and it depends on how hard you're working at the business.
Okay, when you said how hard, what do you mean by that?
Well, look, I mean, just let's give an example. People talk about Chick-fil-A in the United States, right? That's
Yeah.
an amazing business. And whenever I drive past Chick-fil-A in my neighborhood, it's packed, right? And so, yes, you can make a lot of money in Chick-fil-A, but if you
Mhm.
put it in the wrong location and you're not good at your job, for instance, maybe you're not good at hiring the right people, then you're not going to make much money at all. But like the top Chick-fil-A franchisees are ones that put it in the right location to to talk positive about this, right? They're good at hiring people, and that really bodes well. And that's the same way with any business or any other franchise business as well.
Okay, so you also help your clients to hiring people so that they can choose the right person for the job, and also what location they should have, what kind of franchisee.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Atul, because what happens in the franchising world is that a franchise brand provides you a brand, right? Think McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, and they provide you a system. And part of that system is a handbook or playbook or other people around you that give you advice on who to hire, how much to pay them, having a real estate team about finding the right location if it's a brick and mortar retail. So that's something that the franchise brand provides to franchisees. And that's actually something that makes a franchise a really interesting proposition because it's almost like becoming an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
right? The analogy is if you're riding a bike, you're getting training wheels. Think about the brand and the system as being those training wheels for the bike.
And yes, so we can say that it's a blueprint, and with blueprint, the chances are people will not going to make mistakes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, no one wants to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what is the worst mistake people make when they are getting into franchising?
The biggest mistake, in my opinion, is there's so many options out there, a tool.
Mhm.
It's just kind of hard to know what's good or what isn't good. And they decide to invest in things without doing due diligence and investigation, right? They just kind of go to chat GPT or go to the internet and they say, hey, this business looks like it's interesting, But when it comes to characteristics, right, things such as how many employees do you want or how involved in the business do you want to be, they don't even think about that ahead of time. And that's really very challenging. Just like anything else in life, you need to do your due diligence.
Okay, so what are things we should think about before deciding which franchise is good for us?
Well, the number one thing you need to ask yourself is this the right time, right? Because my successful candidates are ones that it's a big they need a compelling emotional reason to invest in this. This is not something that's easy and you sign and you kind of get mailbox money. It's hard, right? You got to put effort into it and really be thoughtful and have time, et cetera. The other question you need to ask is you have the funds available? And frankly, do you have the time available? Because this is not a passive investment, right? So it's a thing where you don't necessarily have to do it full time for all franchise brands, but you need to have at least enough time at the beginning to get this thing running.
Okay, you know what? A couple years ago, I remember like me and some guys were talking, and someone said get franchisee of KFC or something like that, so that there is already a good reputation, and we just get the franchisee, and they'll just make the money.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're bringing up one of the two things, right? You're bringing up a
Yeah.
brand, and a tool. A brand's great, right? With the right brand, then people will understand you and they'll come and everything else, right? Think about it though. KFC or Crumble Cookie has already sold out in your neighborhood, most likely. So you've got to be looking at the system as well, or the people at the franchise brand that have experience in franchising. That's another piece of what you're buying into.
Okay. Okay. So, is there any specific skills someone need to have if they want to be a franchisee owner?
That's a wonderful question. So different brands have different skill sets, right? I think that the biggest question that I get is, do I need to have sales or business development skills? And the answer is maybe, or not necessarily, or just depends on the specific brand. So some are more sales heavy than others. Some require you as an owner to be the business developer or salesperson, right? Others, I love businesses that have really, really good marketing or good demand that's kind of built into the business. For instance, in the United States, people care very much about having their kids going to a swim school, especially in southern states where there are lots of pools and it's a safety issue. So you have demand if you start a swim school, right? But you still have to do other skill sets in hiring the right people.
Okay, so you said there are some people who are not from US, they can get E2 visa by having a franchise in US. Can you talk about that?
So unfortunately, India is not a treaty country, right? There are
Yep.
about 150 countries in the world, and for whatever reason, India isn't. But there are ways for Indian citizens to actually get a US visa. You need to actually become a citizen of a third country, right? Maybe Canada or someplace else like Grenada. An E2 visa is, in my opinion, the best kept secret in US immigration policy. And what I mean by that, Atul, is that people don't understand this. And this even works in the Trump era. Trump wants jobs in the United States. So it's a situation where you raise your hand and you say, I want to make an investment in the United States economy. I want to hire American workers. And it could be as low as about $125,000. It'd be a very unglamorous business, a service business, something like house cleaning or painting. And you go ahead and in exchange for this $125,000 visa, you're going ahead and you are, sorry, $125,000 investment in a business. You get a visa called an E2 visa. You and the rest of your family have access to the United States. Your kids can go to school in the US. You're here legally. There won't be any sort of ICE raids. And then it's a situation where you're starting this business, and every 2 years, as long as the business is a going concern, your residency or your visa is going to be approved every couple of years. There's a 2 year period in between.
Okay.
I'm not an attorney, but I've never had one of these things. Every single one of them that I've gone through with my candidates, they've gotten approved through their local consulate.
Okay. Can you share some story from some of your candidates?
E2 candidate, sure,
Yep.
sure. One of my favorite E2 stories is someone that came from Holland and he just wanted a great lifestyle. He was an IT professional in Europe, but he's like, wait a second here. I hate the winter in Europe. So he went to sunny California, right? And he understood computers, right? And tech. but there's just kind of a different language in the United States when it comes to tech. So he got the system and the brand name for an IT services company in the United States, and he's just doing great in California, having a great lifestyle, very close to nature, but also having a great business as well.
Okay. Okay. So with all the success you have in franchisee business, what's one lesson you would tell yourself if you go back in time and restart again
So is the question with my franchise coaching business or with my franchise itself when I was a franchisee?
when you was a franchisee?
So look, what I would do is this. If I could start all over as a franchisee, what I would do is frankly at the beginning, I think that I would spend trying to think about what thing I did wrong at the beginning, if I can think about this. Yeah. So what I would say is this that I probably in hindsight, I probably didn't necessarily I'm a big believer in
Mhm.
hiring slowly and firing quickly. I
Mhm.
had some employees that were not the right employees that were very important to the business, right?
Mhm.
They didn't fit our culture. And if I could have done it all over again, I probably would have fired them more quickly. I was just really scared to fire some people at my office.
Okay. Hire slow, fire fast.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
So look, what I want to say is this that I offer free consultations on my website franchisecoach.net for anyone interested in franchises. Let's have a quick chat to see if I'm a fit for you. And again, it's a free service that I offer, a tool.
That's awesome, Adam. Okay, so thank you so much for spending some time with us, and it was really fun chatting with you.
Thank you, Atul. It's been a pleasure.